Hello everyone. In this video we'll cover the chord positions. What I mean by that, there are two things we need to consider when writing different type of chords. The first thing, if it's an open or a closed chord, and the second thing, what is the degree of the soprano note. And I'll start with the closed and open position. So we'll start with the C major chord. Now, a closed position means if the tenor and the sopran has a less than an octave between them in in intervals. For example, between the C and the G here, we have a perfect fifth, and that makes it a closed position. Closed position. Because again, that's a tenor, and the tenor is less than an octave away than the soprano. The tenor is the second lowest note, and the soprano is the highest note. Tenor, soprano. So let's look at another chord, and you have to tell me what it is. Now, as you can see, between the C and the E, there is more than an octave. That's an octave, that's a tenth. So that is an open position. Hold on, let me just to be able to write. So that's an open position. That's high right position. Now that's high right position. So you can see the difference between the tenor and the G here. It's only a perfect fifth, so it's less than an octave. In here, it's more than an octave, and you can clearly hear the difference. The open position is more used in the middle of the song where the song is still going. The closed position is usually used when the song starts or the song ends, because you need a satisfying finish. So what if we do this then? Hold on. Nope. What if, for example, that's a closed position. There's a sixth between from E to C. There's a sixth that makes it a closed position. So I'm pretty sure you get the idea at this point. No, that's not the right position. Cool. So you get the idea at this point. So, and I don't need. I don't think I should do another chord. I mean, it's straightforward. It doesn't matter if it's. It doesn't matter what the pitches are, as long as between the tenor and the sopran there's less than an octave in intervals, that makes it a closed chord, and there is an octave or more, it makes it an open chord. So let's talk about the second topic. Second topic is the sopran position. What I mean by that, I can write a major chord. Let's do this. So in here we have the tonic and the sopran. That means the tonic is leading the melody. The tonic is the most apparent in the melody. So the sopran is in tonic position. You can, if your ears are trained well, you can clearly hear the tonic in the top of the, as the highest note, and we'll have listening exercises really soon, but for now we're doing solely explanations. So we have, as I said, it's when the tonic is at the sopran, we have a what do we call it? Tonic position. And now we'll do something else. Also, it doesn't matter how the chords are arranged. The only thing that matters is the sopran note, the highest note. Actually, let's do them by order. Let's do this. And that is a third position, because the third note, oh no, that's an F, that's an E. I heard there's something wrong, just ignoring it for some reason. Okay, so because the E is the highest note, as you can see, we call that, my bad, a third position. Because the third note is like, it's the second note, but it's because it's a third away. It's when we say third, perfect fifth, and stuff like that, we usually measure from the tonic, in a chord sense at least. So because the between the tonic and an E, between C and the E, there's a third distance, we call it a third position. And the final position it's a dominant position, or a fifth position. So let's hear the difference. You can hear there's a decent difference, because when the highest note is something that isn't a tonic or a third or a fifth even, we'll have a different feeling. It gives us a little different color, because usually the highest notes are the most apparent in songs, and that's what makes the melody. Again, some people have it as the alto or the tenor. You can absolutely do that, but if you want, usually if we're not putting an effort to making the sopran not the melody, then it's gonna always be the melody, even if there isn't a melody, such as this case. But there are three positions, because it's a triad, the chord that's made from three notes. But also, for example, let's have a dominant fifth. Let's have a dominant fifth. Nope, my bad. That's a dominant fifth, and as you can see, dominant seventh. I'm sorry, dominant seventh. And because the F is the highest note, then we'll have a fourth position that's called a seventh position. So the more notes you add, you'll have a ninth and an 11th and stuff like that. But again, we're talking classical music, so usually it's a four position type of thing. So yeah, that's about chord positions. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.